Now, where should people put their focus in if they're hearing you talk, they're saying, okay, I understand that plastic has a detrimental impact on our health, on the environment. I look around me, or not me particular, but someone in their house might see a lot of plastic around them. They don't understand how they can start to remove these objects. Where do people look to at the beginning? Is it straws? Is it household objects? Is it cups? Like, where do you usually start?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it can start with, the basics. So I would say reusable shopping bags, for example. Like think about your daily habits, and then where is the plastic showing up? So most of us have to go shopping. Most of us have to eat in our homes, and just getting, especially in what we eat in our foodware and our kitchens, like getting plastic out of there is a big source of plastic in our bodies. So that's really a great thing to do. Um, I covered a story in 2019 about microplastics in our indoor air. And at that time, that was before the lung study that came out and actually found it definitively in lungs, human lungs. But at that time, the scientists said, we're breathing in at least 11 particles of microplastic per hour. Some of that might be expelled when we exhale, but
Mhm.
clearly some is contained. So just getting rid of, synthetic like pillows and blankets and anything that's made out of plastic that's a carpet, for example, and replacing that with renewable natural materials like wood, stone, ceramic, even, which is not the best, but it's better than plastic. But I think um, be aware too of like the finishes that you use in your home or the different types of adhesives. Like I've learned so much in the process of building a house because it's like you can smell the VOCs or the volatile organic compounds that are in a lot of like plastic based products.
Mm.
And you can almost do like a smell test and be like, oh, that's plastic and it's nasty. I don't want that in my house. Because those are off gassing chemicals and particles, of course, are shedding off of it.
Mhm.
Um, but I think also with our clothing, that's another big source. And I buy a lot of secondhand clothes, and I think it's possible to find things that are natural materials, especially in like vintage shops, because you think about it, and like many decades back, not too many, but quite a few, there was no plastic, and there was not a big prevalence of plastic in our clothing, even maybe like, let's say 40, 50 years ago. It was much less ubiquitous than it is today. So search for natural clothing materials, and try to just reuse as much as you can, in
Mhm.
terms of like non-toxic, renewable products like glass, metal, paper. um, that's what we got to do. And we got, I mean, it's funny because I've traveled all over, and everywhere I've gone people have shared their plastic free stories with me, and I'm never, like, I'm always shocked by the ingenuity of people, and I'm like, by now I'm not surprised by like, oh yeah, I go to the bakery and I had a tea towel and I wrap my bread and I carry it home, and like some people will be like, what, that sounds so annoying, and I'm like, it's really not, like it's literally
Mm.
habit. And I think it's an interesting thing to look at like plastic in terms of addiction, because I think when we get so used to convenience, and this is something I learned when I was sailing, it's like life was not meant to be convenient, and we're humans and we're animals and we're meant to like be busy and be doing things and trying to survive. And then it's like plastic eliminated a lot of extra labor that we have to do. And I mean, I'm thinking about things like, plastic water bottles. Like you just throw a bunch in your bag or in your car and then you're ready to go. And don't do
Mhm.
that, please, because you're going to get like warm plastic particles in your water. But anyway, yeah, it's just like when we slow down and think about how we should be living deliberately, it's much easier to find ways to eliminate that plastic, because it's almost like, okay, like let me just think out the process. What do I need to do to get there? But
Mhm.
often the solutions are very, very simple. Often they're very cheap. And again, um, simple as reusing like a jam jar for putting some food in, or your water. So